Hello YouTube. So today I'm going to show you how to make a coaster, and this is one I've already made. It's made out of felt, very easy and quick to make, and I thought they'd be a great idea for a Christmas present if you've not got lots of money and you want to create something really special for someone. So the first thing you're going to need is some templates. I've actually taken these from a book called Super Cute Felt by Laura Howard, and this is available on Amazon, which is where I got mine. So that's where I've got my templates from, and I've just cut out the squirrel, a circle to make the actual coaster, a little round piece for the acorn, and then a little topper for the yeah, I think it's an acorn, or it makes it into a nut, whatever. So then what you want to do is pin your template to a piece of felt and cut out the shape. So I have my squirrel, the coaster, and the back for the coaster. You want to make sure you've got a back, and the two pieces for the nut. And my camera's about to die, so I'm going to plug it in and then I'll be back. Hi everyone, so I'm back. So the first thing you want to do is take your top of the coaster, and you want to decide where to put everything. So I'm actually going to do this one the other way round to the other one that I just showed you, and just literally decide where you're going. You want to make sure you decide before you start stitching, because you don't want to make a mess by unpicking the stitching. If you're not good at sewing and you still want to have a go at this, you can use fabric glue, which you can buy from all good like craft and art stores, and that should work fine as well. They are coasters though, so you want to make sure, because obviously if people put drinks on them and they spill, you want to make sure that you buy washable glue that won't dissolve in water. So don't buy water soluble, because if the person you're giving them to washes them, they'll all fall apart. So make sure you buy a non-water soluble glue. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little squirrel piece and I'm going to embroider on this design. So I'm going to thread the needle and I'll be back. I've just cut a little circle of brown felt and a little black one for the eye. I've threaded my needle and I've used a single thread. If you're using cross stitch threads, you should use either 2 or 3 strands, but I've used normal thread and I've done it double. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stitch this eye in place. So I'm just going to come up through all the layers from underneath and pull it tight. And if you get one stuck on the needle like this, all you need to do is just slide it down like that, and then you just want to do a couple of stitches to secure this in place. So we're done with that now. The next thing you want to do is you want to add some features to your squirrel. Now I like to do everything slightly different. I don't like things very uniformed. You can see here I've done a line where the leg is, and then a little bit of embellishment on the tail. So I'm going to start it off to just show you how I do the stitches, and then I'm going to cut it out because otherwise the video will be like half an hour long, and YouTube doesn't let me upload anything above 10 minutes, so we'll do that. So on this one I'm going to do a little mouth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up where I want the mouth, so there, I think. If it gets wrapped around its tail, don't worry. And then I'm just going to go back down into this stitch here, and you see now we've made a stitch. Sorry if this is really basic, but I want it to be accessible to everyone, and I know that some people won't have sewn before, so I want to try and make it as simple as possible. Let me know if you'd like more sewing videos and like tutorials and things if you are interested in this, but don't really know what to do. So I'm just going to add detail and just carry on like this, adding any detail you want, and then I'll be back. Here's my squirrel. I actually decided that I didn't like the mouth on him, when I'd done the rest of the details, so I've actually just unpicked that, but the stitching is just the same. Here where I've done it a bit thicker, I've literally just gone over it twice, and you can do anything you want, and if you don't like it you can unpick it, but make sure you're careful and you only cut the thread and not the felt if you're unpicking. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually stitch this little squirrely to the green felt, and just tuck any ends in that you want, that you have rather, and just tuck them in, then you can't see them. So I'm literally just going to stitch round like this. I'm going to show you, then you know what to do. So I've already got a needle and thread threaded from the last time, and all I'm going to do, sorry, you can see it there, is up and back down. And I'm going to do this all the way around. So I'll go all the way around the squirrel and then I'll come back. So I've got round to the hand here, and while I'm at this end of the stitching, I'm going to add the acorn or nut or whatever it is. I can't decide what it is, so all I'm going to do is place it on where I want it. You don't have to put it here, but if you want him to be holding it, then while you're at this end, it's a good time to do it. And then I'm just going to take a pin and just pin that in place so that it doesn't move while I'm stitching it. Same principle though, just go around it, and you can add detail if you want. I'll come back to that when I've stitched around it and add some detail, and then show you what I do. Finish sewing around the outer edge, and this one I think I'm going to make like a grid. So all I'm going to do is come up at the top and do one long stitch right to the bottom. Doesn't have to be perfectly straight, but it can be as straight or as wonky as you like. If you're not making this for a coaster, you could sew beads on and buttons and things like that, but if you are making for a coaster, you want it to be flat so that when you put your drink on it, it doesn't topple over. I'm actually going to do more than that, but while I'm at the end of the thread, I'll just show you what I do to fasten it off. I basically just pull it through an old stitch, and if it's long enough, which mine isn't quite, just push it back through the stitch or through another one, and then I just cut it off, and then just start a new thread as if you were starting for the first time. So I'll just change the thread and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back, and next thing I'm going to do is just do the same sort of thing but the other way to make it like a grid. You can do any sort of patterns you want, just personal choice really. Oops. Just knocking random things over while I'm sewing. I don't have much room because, yeah, I've got so much stuff in a tiny room. I live in university halls, and it's very small, but it's good, it's convenient, and yeah, the light isn't very good, as you've probably gathered from my videos, but it's alright. So there we go, we have a grid now. So now all I'm going to do is carry on with what I was doing before, which is sewing the squirrel to the main part of the coaster, and I'm going to go all the way around, and then I'll be back to show you the next step.